Hi, I'm Steve Reimer. Today I'll be giving a persuasive speech on gun ownership and gun control in the USA. To my left I have Chuck Reimer, the current owner of the Radiator Master in St. Olaf, Iowa, who has recently gotten a permit to carry in the state of Iowa. To his left is Judy Reimer, the co-owner of the Radiator Master and also has a permit to carry in the state of Iowa, but is kind of bipartisan on an idea. Behind the camera is my wife, Valerie Reimer. She is kind of opposed to gun ownership at all. I have some facts for everybody, and I want you to think open-minded about this on why I think it is a good idea for gun ownership in the USA, but also having a strong laws against gun control here in the state of Iowa. 70 to 80 million people own guns in the USA alone. 40 to 45% of households contain guns that are legally owned here in the US, which means another 40 to 55% of Americans have guns illegally, owned through the black market or have been stolen. These are usually people that cannot pass a background check, who are very nervous about having a background check done on them because they know they will be denied ownership of a gun. Secondly, the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution states, "A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, has the right to bear arms and shall not be infringed." To me, that is a right that the forefathers seen would be a constant battle between the rights of the people and the leaders that we put in offices. This should be something that they should not argue or ever debate. It is our right to own these guns. It is our right to fight for what we believe in. It is our right to take care of what we have here in the world. And I think that with having a gun makes you stand up for what you believe in that much more. It's like this: if you had a knife and someone came to your house to rob you with a gun, you probably would turn around and shy away and let them do whatever they wanted, and in the end they'd probably still kill you. With a gun, it's a level playing field, and you're not opposed to pulling a trigger if you have to save your life or things you work very hard to. I'm not saying it's right to shoot somebody, but I am saying you have the right and I have the right to stick up for what we worked hard for in our lives. The 2010 survey showed private firearm ownership with households with guns was 47 to 53 million people in the United States. The adults owning guns was only 30 to 34%, or 70 to 80 million people. Adults owning a handgun, which is a big new issue in the state of Iowa and 39 other states here in the U.S., only is 17 to 19% ownership, which is only 40 to 45 million people. The owned guns for the reasons during the survey was 67% had owned guns for protection, otherwise known for in case someone came into their house meaning to do harm on them or stealing from them. 66% of the people owning guns had owned the guns for target shooting, and only 41% owned guns for hunting purposes, which I thought was relatively low. Now, the thing that people argue the most is, what about all the crimes committed with guns? And all the people that have passed away and been killed with guns? Well, I'm here to tell you that as of 2007, firearm deaths was rated 16 out of the top 20 deaths in the United States at 1% total. The top 3 were motor vehicle accidents, poisoning, and falling. If you ask me, the 1% is relatively minor compared to the 18% that fall and die. Maybe we should start to get our congressmen to complain about people that fall. Maybe people that are of a certain age should have to wear protective harnesses so they don't fall. I think they should spend more time on worrying about poisoning and controlling things that can poison people than firearms, than something that is our right. And I feel like it is something that they're just trying to take away from us to prove how much power they have in their leadership roles. Being hospitalized for accidents not being fatal, gun accidents was rated 19 out of the top 20, which is very low again. And that was only 0.5% of all hospitalizations. The top three were, the number one was fall at 45.5, motor vehicle was 2 at 12%, and other specified reasonings was 10%. Once again, falling, number one at 45 to 40%. I think they need to focus their concentration on something other than guns. The thing that really stuck out to me was, as of 2007, firearm accidents by age. The accidents from children age 0 to age 24, there were 220 fatal deaths, or 6.4% of all fatalities from firearms from kids younger than 25 years of age. That startled me. Only 393 deaths were from ages 25 till death. That at 2.2%. The number one thing that stuck out to me was the people that have guns or own guns legally are not teaching their kids proper techniques, are teaching proper techniques to their children, or children are not going through hunter safety courses like they should be. I think we as people and parents need to start sending our kids to hunter safety courses and courses that pertain to firearm safety. Does anybody else have anything else they would like to ask me about that I can tell them further upon to their knowledge based on these facts?
What is the fact of deaths after the children or the people have been taught proper gun etiquette?
I never really went into that much depth, but I would assume, this is my assumption alone, being around guns for my whole life, being taught at a young age hunter safety, and being around a parent that has hunted all my life, I knew how to handle a gun from the moment that I was able to hold one, which was at a very young age. I feel that people that have children that go through hunter safety and have them around firearms and are able to show them the proper techniques on how to handle guns and unload guns and load guns and what to do and what not to do, have a far greater chance of not being in a fatal accident or an accident at all with a gun, rather than people that live in the cities or in the country that have never been exposed to a gun or have had any training at all on a gun. I feel that these are the people that look at guns and think I might need one for my protection, that get one, that aren't properly trained on how to operate a gun, that end up having the fatal or non-fatal accidents with guns.
Don't you think all these people that are getting the permit to carry is a little scary, because now this number is increasing dramatically, and all these kids that have anger issues and go to school and have acts of violence, now that it's just going to be much easier for them to get a hold of a gun when their parents are suddenly getting guns because now they have a permit to carry, whereas they didn't before? Because you can, I hear you saying that you can teach your kids gun safety and all this and that, but you can also lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
You're correct. But if you buy a gun as a parent, it is your responsibility to lock it up in a gun safe. If your child commits a crime with a gun that you purchased yourself, it is just as much your fault as a parent as it is the child's fault. I believe that it's the parent's fault to teach the kid the proper techniques, but you can't hide guns from kids, so you need to lock them up under lock and key. I also feel that the state should have a key lock law. There are 12 states that currently have the key lock law, but Iowa is not one of them. But I feel that they should have it. But I think that has to go along the line of parents locking up their guns better, because kids 18 years of age and younger is against the law for those kids to own guns. So the only way they could get them if they were locked up is illegally, which they probably could do if they wanted. And once again, if you oppose guns and you take away the rights to guns, the only people that are going to have guns are the people that are trying to commit crimes and are doing illegal acts. The people that are trying to hunt or have guns for their own protection are going to be the ones that are per se screwed, because we won't be able to have guns.
I agree with that. You should be able to have your gun, but I'm talking about the permit to carry. Now all these people are just going to be carrying guns on them at any moment in time, and whereas before their gun would have been at home. Well, now when they're out and about and somebody really ticks them off and they're on their last end of their fuse, they can whip their gun off their hip and away they go.
Well, not really, because when I went to the permit to carry class, at first I was kind of against the permit to carry because I thought you're going to have all these crazy people out carrying weapons. But I decided to go to the class with a little help, encouragement from my husband, and I learned a lot at the class. You aren't just going to have people, any random people go out to carry. It's people that are very interested in guns. They respect what a gun can do, and they have self-control of themselves. If you're somebody that don't want to have responsibility for your actions, you're more than likely not going to bother going to get a permit to carry or a certificate to do so. It was very informative, the class that I went to, and like I said, at first I was against the whole new law that came into place, but then I found out that that isn't even a new law, it's just one that had resurfaced. So I learned a lot at my class, and now I have a different function. You still need to be responsible for that gun even if you're carrying it on your person, and they encourage you to use the gun in a matter of self-defense as totally your very last option.
I agree with what Judy is saying, and personally, as a person that does not have a permit to carry, I feel safer on the street with people that do have a permit to carry, because I feel like if I was in a convenience store and it was getting armed robbed, I feel like if I was with a person that had a gun on them, they could take control of the situation much easier than waiting for the police and having the chance of the cashier or other people being shot. I feel more secure with people having guns because, like Judy said, those are honest people that usually get guns. The people that have to get guns have to go through extensive background checks, and to get a permit to carry, you have to be fingerprinted. So if they committed a crime with their permit to carry, they would be apprehended right away. So I don't feel like the permit to carry should be an issue or should ever be an issue. I think people should concentrate more on poisoning and falling than the permit to carry. Does anybody else have any further questions?
As a person who has a permit to carry, just because you have a permit to carry doesn't mean you're always going to carry a firearm on you. Only when you feel it is necessary. Hunting, depositing large amounts of money, and or if you feel you're in a threatened area. Other than that, responsible gun owners will not carry their gun all the time, unless they're professional law enforcement. So, at that, I agree with what Steve's saying, and it is correct.
Anybody else have anything further? With that, I'm going to end by saying, the people that think that we should not have gun ownership in the USA are kind of crazy, because once we have no gun rights in this USA, the only people that are going to have gun rights are the people that are going to commit the crimes, and we're going to be left begging for our lives. Thank you.